Hey people, welcome to the channel, and as promised, a list of the things you need so as to be prepared according to the UK government. I'll go through the complete list. It's not that long. I'll add several things of my own which I believe you should add so as to be better prepared. They have a website. It is prepare.campaign.gov.uk. And what is it exactly that they want you to prepare for? Well, they mention floods, nuclear attacks, cyber attacks, and a new pandemic. Okay, that's a pretty intense list of things to prepare for. Now, the first thing I want you to do is take a deep breath. You're fine. Don't panic. I'll help you out with this video and getting started. I'll point you towards the right direction so as to continue in your preparedness journey. Now, the first thing they do mention in the website, and it is correct, I agree with that, is you need a plan. You need to know what you're doing. What is it that you want to prepare for? How is it that you plan to get ready for all of this? Now, you cannot do this if you don't have the right information. For that, I recommend my channel. It is absolutely free. You can look up a number of videos in the search function, but I strongly recommend you get my books. This will really help you in narrowing down the things you need to know and point you towards the right direction for a number of potential emergencies and disasters. You just cannot replace the years of experience and studying and learning and firsthand experience and researching in just a few minutes or a few hours that you may have to spare. For that, street survival skills will help you for all of the practical stuff related to many of the things mentioned in this video. I also suggest getting my other book, Surviving the Economic Collapse, which is based on firsthand experience of going through the economic collapse of Argentina, my country, back in the day. These will really help you and accelerate that learning curve and make it a lot less hard. So the first thing they mention is having battery or wind up torch. I assume they're talking about a flashlight. I absolutely agree with that. I would not go with a wind up torch. They're usually not very good. I would suggest buying a quality flashlight. Petzl headlamp, that would be the first thing I would buy. They're affordable, it is a great brand, they're super useful, they're used by special forces and soldiers all over the world, as well as explorers and adventurers. Why? Because they're great, they're high quality, and most of all, in a headlamp, it allows you to have both hands free, which is what you want in an emergency. I would also suggest having typical flashlight, a quality one, stream light, that's pretty good. Some of these models can use different types of batteries, so it's very adequate for preparedness and survival. I would also suggest having some type of lantern. That little ball there, that is from Olight. It's a little lantern. I use that all the time at night for taking out, watching something or checking out the kids at night without having a very bright light. It has a couple modes, something like that. You could also buy, these strings of LEDs. They sell after Christmas. They go on sale. Buy a bunch of those. They're great for illuminating a room without having a spotlight as you would with a dedicated flashlight. The other thing they mention is having a portable power bank. I suggest buying a bigger one, having one with a good solar panel. It will not charge as nice as you'd think it would, but it's better than nothing. And make sure you check the charge on your power bank every 6 months or so. I would even encourage you to buy a dedicated solar panel. The folding ones, 25, 30 watts, those will charge that nicely with a little bit of light and will get you through some of these emergencies where you just want to power a cell phone or a tablet so as to go online. Moving on, battery or wind-up radio. You have some of those models that include a flashlight, which is not great as a flashlight. It's not going to be charging. The solar panel they usually have is not that great. But yeah, a radio is essential so as to gather information. It used to be that cell phones had FM radio on itself because it's usually built in the proper within the chip of your cell phones. These have been blocked by most companies so as to make you use their data service. I think there's something with the UK law going on, or the EU law, I believe it is, that they want companies to unlock that function in cell phones. That is something that would be nice to see, but for now, yes, get a radio, a battery operated radio or a wind-up radio. I would lean more towards the battery operated one, more reliable. Wind-up things usually don't work all that well. I would even suggest getting a world radio, something like this. I bought this on Tesco many years ago for like $10. Guess what? It still allows you to listen. from all over the world. The difference between an FM, AM radio and a world radio. A world radio allows you to listen, especially at night with a clear day, listening to all over the world, which is something I very much would like to have during a cyber attack or something of a large scale event. Moving to the next thing, battery. Spare batteries. Yes, of course. Rechargeable batteries. I would suggest going on mostly AA and AAA batteries. Focusing on those for your gadgets and standardizing around electronics that use either AA or AAA batteries. First aid kits, learn how to use it as well. Hand sanitizer and wet wipes. I would even say extend this to all hygiene items, feminine pads and a bunch of other things. Even cleaning supplies for your house. Have at least a couple months worth of that. You're going to be using it anyway. And if there is an event in which some of these things are missing, you will be thankful for them. Bottled water, of course, basic. 3 liters of water per day per person. That is usually what's recommended. I would extend that to a week. I wouldn't just settle for 3 days worth of water. 3 liters per person per day is the norm. You could do a lot better. Non-perishable food. Tinned, no cooking required. That's what the website says. I think that's a good idea. I would also suggest getting pasta, which if you have a camping stove, you will be able to cook. Pasta is usually edible by most people. Most people are okay with pasta. If you want to take this an extra step, go with the Energy 5 or similar survival rations. These last for decades. Those are 20 years shelf life. It is something that you can break into a bit of a powder and mix with water so as to make a paste that even is used for babies, which is pretty cool. Moving on, baby supplies. Of course, if you have a baby, that is pretty common sense. Diapers, baby wipes, and that sort of stuff. If you have a baby, ideally, the baby will be breastfeeding, which is by far the best thing you can do. And in an emergency, mom is already there with the baby. You don't have to worry about powders or milks or formulas or whatnot, which are not healthy, by the way. I will, though, say, even if your child is breastfeeding 100%, have a bottle or a can of that powder. Don't use it unless you have to in an emergency, but just in case something happens to mom, I've actually gone through this. Something happens or she has to take a medication because of something, an infection, whatever it is, and you're taking medication and you cannot breastfeed anymore, or she happens to have a work emergency or whatever it is and she's not available, maybe a bit of that powder would be in my supplies. Those are the items that they mentioned. I will add a few of my own. Now, you first see that heater over there. That's a kerosene heater, a paraffin heater. You can buy these in UK, in Gumtree, use all day long, affordable, and these things are crucial in places where climate can be a problem, where you may even freeze to death. You want to have a kerosene heater, paraffin heater. Some models are even are like that. When you see some models work even as lanterns, and you can cook on top of them, placing a pot on top. That is a very nice feature. Super simple. There's nothing here electronic going on, and it is extremely reliable. One of the things that they don't even mention, and I don't even understand why they don't mention, is have spare cash. Have a good amount of spare cash for your emergencies. That is one of my top 5 items for emergency preparedness. Cash. You also want to have a list of contacts, important information. They do mention that at some point, having family members, phone numbers, addresses, insurance numbers, bank information. Be careful with that information, but you may want to have it as well. Some way of communicating if there is no cell phones. A couple radios. Some of these radios can even work along with more powerful ones like the Baofangs using the same frequency, but if there's no cell phones, those things can be super useful. A way of filtering water or purifying water. The basic would be something like the life straw you see there. That is essential, and you want to have that. A better water filter, yes, by all means, but at least something basic. Ways of starting fire, at least 3. Matches, a lighter, and a fire steel. Learn how to use it. Notepad and pen. A multi-tool. so as to have a tool in case you need it. Usually you would have a Victorinox. I think that the multi-tools now are better, especially since the patent of Leatherman has expired. There's a bunch of companies doing a very good copy or imitation of it, and it is of high quality. Duct tape, a proper survival knife. I mean, you can go with something like this. Your Mora is a great knife for $10. It's a fantastic bushcraft knife, but a proper survival knife is going to be something that's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. That is my survival knife. The Furfel Aitor, made by Aitor in Spain. Aitor is a company that makes knives for military and tactical uses all over the world. It is high quality, and it will take a beating like a typical normal knife probably won't. This is the prototype that I'm still using and still going strong. Now, there is a number of manufacturers. I like the Foggneven brand is also pretty good. Something more militaristic, the Glock knife is a knife that I really like. It's maybe not as good as a knife as a survival knife or like my knife over there, but for the money, it's a great sharp pokey thing. A few other things. You have gas mask, that is a GSR, military gas mask from UK. Yeah, in case air is compromised, in case of dealing with a true airborne threat that you just don't want to catch because it means the difference between life and death, a simple surgical mask will not do. That was never a thing. Now, if you have that, that will keep you alive, at least from airborne threats. You can go with a face mask from 3M with their own filters. I recommend going with a new mask that covers the entire face and hopefully uses NATO standard 40 millimeter filters. That is the best thing to do. If not, stock up on whatever filters your mask happens to use. Working out, at the very least 3 times a day or 3 times a week of cardio, 30-45 minutes, and start lifting, getting used to lifting heavy things. Start with a little bit of lighter weights, move your way towards heavier stuff, and you need to have a strong body. I'm not talking about being a swimsuit model. I'm talking about being fit, strong, and healthy, which is the most important thing, far more important than all of the items that you see here, right? The last thing I want to mention is a way of protecting yourself. Some kind of tool. You can definitely use a knife. You can have spray, pepper spray. Now, this is banned in UK. So in UK, this would not be a thing. You know what is legal in UK? Buying a shotgun. I suggest getting yourself a semi-automatic shotgun or a pump action or even a double barrel shotgun, but a firearm of some sort. That is something that, of course, the UK government will never mention, but because that is not my case, I strongly suggest that you do procure some way of defending yourself as a last resort. Guys, that's gonna be all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, any questions, those are all more than welcome in the comments there below. I'll leave links for all of these things, or at least the ones I do find, in the description of the video too. Folks, that's gonna be all for now. See you in our next video. Take care.